Hi, let's discuss Africa's infrastructure and artistry beauty, okay? Let's see how Africa's cities and places are actually developing rapidly. But today I'm going to discuss Africa's tallest buildings and to see which cities they are actually located and how fast our African governance and government people are actually developing the cities of Africa to meet expectation, okay? We are tired of being the third world country. We deserve to be part of the top sport countries, okay? Well, let's see how things are doing with Africa. The name is Without Share Say, and this is African Time. Let's go away. Let's go. Okay, so recently it was shared by the African Funk Zone people saying African cities investing heavily in high-rise building. Number 1 is Cairo, Egypt. Number 2 is new administrative capital, Egypt. Number 3 is Nairobi, Kenya. Number 4 is Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. And then number 5 is Johannesburg, South Africa. Okay, so these cities listed here are your top 5 cities that are actually investing heavily in high-rise buildings. Number 1 is Cairo, Egypt. Yeah, we all know Cairo. Number 2 is the new administrative capital, Egypt. That is the new city that Egyptians are building. They are actually building high-rise buildings there. Number 3 is Nairobi, Kenya. Nairobi, Kenya is said to have the third high-rise buildings in Africa. Okay, we have Addis Ababa, Ethiopia being number 4, and then Johannesburg, South Africa is the 5th city with the highest rise buildings in Africa. Wow, that is nice. That is nice. Okay, so now, since this is how you are getting to know this, how about we learn to know which African or which towers or buildings are the tallest buildings in Africa in 2024? Okay, now I got this firstly from the African Narratives. They actually shared the second quarter of 2024. Okay, that's the second quarter. From the first quarter to the second quarter in 2024, these buildings here were the tallest building in Africa. So they says top 10 tallest building in Africa, second quarter 2024, listed by height and meters. Okay, so number 1 is the Leonardo, South Africa, with about 227 meters. That is the number 1 tallest building in Africa in the second quarter of 2024. Don't forget that one. That's the main quote here, the second quarter. Don't get it right. All right, no, let's go. Number 2 is Carlton Center, South Africa, with about 223 meters high. And then number 3 is Bredtown Tower, Kenya, with about 200 meters high. Number 4 is CBE Headquarters, Ethiopia, with about 198 meters high. Number 5 is again Nairobi GTC Office Tower, Kenya, that is about 184 meters high. Number 6 is Ponti City, South Africa, with about 172.8 meters high. Number 7 is UAP Tower, that is Kenya, with about 163 meters high. Number 8 is Necom House, Nigeria, with about 158 meters high. Number 9 is Tanzania Post Authority Tower in Tanzania, having about 157 meters high. And at number 10 is PSPF Towers in Tanzania with about 153 meters high. The list is according to Construction Kenya. We are fine. So finally, these were said to be your Africa's tallest building in the second quarter of 2024. Second quarter, that means first quarter, we have 12 months in a year. So first quarter is January, February, March, April. That's the first 4 months. The second 4 months is the second quarter. Okay, now let's do the whole thing of the whole 2024, the tallest buildings in Africa. Shall we? Let's go. Okay, so on this list here, I have here, it says Iconic Tower. It's a building though. The height is about 393.8 meters long. That is 1,292 feet. And it has 77 floors. The year it was accomplished, it was 2024. And then the country is Egypt. And it can be found in the new administrative capital. Now, that is the highest or the tallest building in Africa right now. It's called the Iconic Tower, and it's also has a height of about 393.8 meters long, and it's you can also call it 1,292 feet. It has 77 floors. It was done or officially completed in 2024, and the country is Egypt, and the city that's actually located is the new administrative capital. Yeah, that is the new cities the Egyptians are building. That's where you can find these buildings. Okay, so that is your tallest or your highest building, the tallest building in Africa right now. It's located in Egypt and it's called the Iconic Tower. You have learned something here. Okay, yep. So it goes on and on. So like the top 10 on this list, we had Egypt having 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Egypt had 5 buildings in the top 10 highest buildings in Africa, and most of them all can be found in their new administrative city they are building. That is impressive. And now, in the first 2 quarters of the year, that's the second quarter of 2024, South Africa was actually topping with the Leonardo Tower. But this time around, after the year ended and then the Egypt's administrative buildings came in, that the South African tower became at number 4. The Leonardo Tower became number 4, and then Carlton Center became number 5. That is all in Johannesburg, okay? That is how competition. Egypt's new administrative city is a really competitive city in Africa that's going to compete with a lot of cities in Africa. So Africans and all the mayors of all the cities left in the rest of the continent, you got to sit up, because the Egypt's new administrative cities they are building is actually not here to play. Okay, hope you have learned something new here. My name is Barashi Say. I'm always here to share with you some fascinating things about Africa and the African continent. Hope you have learned something here. And mind you, I want to say a big shout out to my Egyptians for actually developing the country. Egypt is high in debt, but they actually have something to show for. My name is Barashi. Thank you for your time.